As long as I can remember here in Iran, when you've had anti-government demonstrations that have been lengthy, they've always been followed by government-sponsored, government-organized, pro-government demonstrations, especially on Fridays after Friday prayers. And that's exactly what we saw on this Friday, not just here in the capital of Tehran, but in major cities throughout Iran. You had these government-sponsored demonstrations where you had demonstrators chanting slogans in support of the government, in support of the mandatory hijab law. The usual anti-American, anti-Israeli chants, death to America, death to Israel. You had demonstrators saying that these anti-government protests over the past week have been fomented by foreign elements in foreign countries, and some called for the execution of the anti-government protesters. That was on Friday. Overnight Thursday, we had more protests, more clashes, again, in Tehran and other major cities throughout Iran. Again, it's important to repeat and emphasize that due to the severe restrictions here and the circumstances and the lack of access to various regions in the country, it's extremely difficult to report accurately and with confidence the intensity and the scale of these protests. But clearly, based on social media videos that have been posted online, these protests continue for continued last night for a seventh consecutive day. Again, we saw clashes between protesters and police on several occasions. We saw demonstrators torching police cars, and again, we saw a number of women defiantly taking off their hijab, the Islamic headdress that in many ways has become the flashpoint for these demonstrators. And as you mentioned, Francois, the government signaling a more severe crackdown, both the army and the intelligence ministries, their spokespersons saying that these protests are being fomented by foreign elements and that they will be confronted. An ominous message that obviously raises the specter of more violence and more bloodshed in the coming days.